Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Savannah and Chrisley continue to mourn. Can't believe it. Shockingly, it has been a month since the tragic news first broke that Nick Chrisley was dead at the age of 29. Savannah Chrisley, her brothers, and her parents all struggled deeply with his death as he was very close to the entire family. Despite the fact that Savannah and Nick cut off their engagement and never got married, their love for each other never fizzled out. Furthermore, he maintained a relationship with her brothers and her parents despite ending things with Savannah. Savannah Chrisley took to her Instagram stories to pay tribute to Nick Chrisley on the 1-month anniversary of his passing. With the tribute, she also shared how her little sister Chloe was mourning his tragic death. Savannah Chrisley shared a photo that appeared to be snapped while she was grabbing a bit to eat with Nick at an eatery of some sort. Nick had a huge smile on his face, with his arms folded across his chest. It did not appear that he even knew the photo was being snapped as he was not looking in the direction of the camera. In a caption attached to the photo, Savannah Chrisley admitted she could not believe it had been an entire month since Nick Chrisley passed away. Now, Savannah Chrisley did share a second photo on her profile as well. The second photo appears to have been snapped during some sort of beach vacation. Nick had Chloe hoisted into the air, resting on his shoulder. Both Nick and Chloe held a peace sign up for the camera. They both also scrunched up their faces and made similar facial expressions. Nick Chrisley was shirtless and Chloe was in a two-piece red bathing suit. Tropical palm trees could be seen behind them in the photo. In the caption, Savannah shared that she and Chloe enjoyed ham and cheese croissants today. She added that Chloe admits the only reason why she enjoys this particular meal is because she knows it was Nick's favorite. Chrisley knows best fans have mixed feelings. Unfortunately, fans have pretty mixed feelings about Savannah Chrisley continuing to post about Nick Chrisley's passing. On one hand, they understand his death hurt her hard and she's just trying to mourn. Some fans, however, think she needs to mourn privately. In fact, some believe she's made his death far too much about her family, and that her behavior has disrespected his own family in the process. The morning light barely crept through the gauzy curtains of Savannah Chrisley's Nashville home. The usually vibrant house, filled with the chaos of family visits, Chloe's cartoon marathons, and the scent of Savannah's lavender candles, was hauntingly quiet. Even the golden retriever, Maverick, lay silently by the fireplace, sensing the mood that had lingered in the air for days. Savannah sat cross-legged on the couch, wearing one of her father's old flannel shirts. Her blonde hair was pulled into a messy bun, dark circles clinging stubbornly under her eyes. In her lap, Chloe leaned against her, clutching a faded photo album, one of the few things they'd managed to grab from storage after the chaos of the past year. The pages were worn from little fingers flipping them back and forth, over and over again, searching for comfort in memories. "I still can't believe it," Savannah whispered, barely louder than the hum of the air conditioning. Chloe looked up, her big brown eyes wide. Why did Garrison have to go to heaven? The question cut through Savannah's heart like a knife. It wasn't just about Garrison, her cousin, and someone Chloe had idolized like a big brother. It was about everything. Their lives have been unraveling for what felt like years. The trials, the sentences, the separation. But Garrison's passing had been the blow that knocked the air completely out of their lungs. "He was hurting, sweetheart," Savannah said carefully, brushing a strand of Chloe's curly hair behind her ear. "And sometimes, people don't know how to stop hurting." Chloe was silent for a long time. She opened the album again, flipping to a photo of her, Savannah, and Garrison at a 4th of July picnic a few summers ago. Garrison had hoisted Chloe onto his shoulders, and Savannah was mid-laugh, holding up a sparkler. The joy frozen in that moment felt cruel now. "He smiled all the time," Chloe said, "but I guess he was pretending." Savannah nodded slowly, her throat thick with emotion. "Yeah, baby. Sometimes people smile to keep others from worrying." The funeral had been private, subdued. Just family and a few close friends. Savannah had stood between Nanny Faye and Grayson, while Chloe gripped her hand so tightly her knuckles turned white. They released white doves at the end, something Garrison's mom insisted on. One had circled above before flying off alone into the cloudy sky. Savannah had taken it as her phone buzzed. Another message from a fan, someone sending prayers and strength. There had been thousands of them since the news broke. People who had never met Garrison but had watched the family on television for years felt as if they'd lost someone too. Savannah appreciated the love, but none of it filled the void. "Do you think Uncle Todd got to call?" Chloe asked. The innocence of her question knocked the wind out of Savannah again. Julie and Todd were both still serving their sentences. Reduced, yes, but still far away. Todd had only been granted a few minutes of phone time the day of the funeral, and even that had been monitored. He hadn't been able to say goodbye. "He did, baby," Savannah replied, holding back tears. "He called. He cried. He misses Garrison so much." Chloe's bottom lip quivered. "I miss him too. I wanted to show him the art I made." Savannah looked at the refrigerator. The drawing was still there. Chloe's colorful picture of the Chrisley family, with stick figures smiling and holding hands under a bright yellow sun. Garrison was right in the middle, between Julie and Chloe. "I think he sees it," Savannah said softly, "from up in heaven. And he's smiling." Later that afternoon, Savannah took Chloe to the garden they'd planted in memory of Garrison. It was tucked in the corner of the backyard, behind a little wooden gate that Garrison had helped install once during a weekend visit. Chloe carried a mason jar filled with painted rocks, each one bearing a kind word or message to Garrison. They knelt beside the rose bushes, the blooms brilliant red, and began placing the stones in a circle around the base. "This one says hero," Chloe said, "because Garrison was brave." Savannah smiled through her tears. Yes, he was. The loss had cracked something in the family. Savannah could feel it. But it had also created a strange, raw kind of closeness. She'd spoken to her estranged siblings more in the past few weeks than in the last year. Even Lindsay had reached out. They were broken, yes, but somehow still stitched together by the memory of the boy with the soft heart and troubled eyes. Chloe tugged at her sleeve. "Can we write him a letter?" Savannah nodded. "Of course." Back inside, Chloe pulled out a sheet of pink notebook paper and began writing with her sparkly purple pen. Savannah watched her, overwhelmed with love and grief. When Chloe finished, she folded the letter carefully and tucked it into a little jar they kept on the mantel. A jar labeled "Messages to Heaven." That night, Savannah sat on the porch alone while Chloe slept upstairs. The crickets chirped softly. She clutched a mug of tea, but it had long gone cold. Her thoughts drifted. Garrison had been quiet, misunderstood, sensitive in ways few people ever took the time to understand. The world had moved too fast for him. But he had loved deeply, and he had loved Chloe. She was perhaps the last bit of pure light in his world. Savannah pulled out her phone and opened the last voice memo he'd sent her months ago. Just a quick, "Hey, hope you and Chloe are good. Tell her I miss her drawings. Love you."